say they'll support the village, like Jeff James is up there. Starting its disinformation campaign.
We are live streamed right now. We're not recording, but we are live streamed.
I didn't send you dates. I meant to do that before I came this morning.
Jake said he told you.
Yeah.
He only wants to do fun things.
No, you know what?
Which is your event? Or is there a contradiction here?
I don't know. She said it doesn't sound like fun.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna start recording in a second. Stop.
Wait, oh, go on.
No, I know where you're coming from with that statement. Because you saw all of it. So stop. Because yeah.
Mr. Napser,
How are you?
how are you? How was Elton?
Elton John is very good, very, very good.
Did you have good eats too?
We had lots of good eats.
No.
Did you get
We have that as your first concert.
Oh my God.
Um,
Seriously, did? Okay, a hero and game agenda?
I have it in my office. Caitlin printed it off.
Okay, here.
Completely forgot.
I forwarded it to a lot of people.
So usually your name is up front and just grab
I
it.
didn't fill it out. very
Welcome,
intentionally.
welcome.
Oh.
We have one over there now?
Yeah, look at that. Welcome, welcome.
I actually took it seriously, I had to make my own.
Big time.
We were thinking we were gonna get all piled.
You did?
I can make it happen. Yeah.
And I saw the award.
That tag.
Actually, Caitlin was,
I wonder if there's like a patent on this scrap.
Oh.
How are you?
Caitlin was looking at the,
Good.
when you go in my office, in the back of my office, it says, Jones and Caitlin.
No, we made.
Why don't we get a piece of driftwood and have you make the tiles in the same shape and font as the grower and making your Petoskey stone? I'm like, yeah, you find a piece of driftwood big enough.
I made a piece of driftwood, yeah.
The biggest thing was.
I don't know where Amy is.
She's zooming in, Margot, just so.
I know, well, there's only a front row too. And it-
No, honey.
I think this group is not very smart.
We can make you a second row.
Because then we'll move back.
You don't want to sit next to each
I
other.
don't even need as many chairs.
I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed.
Yeah, but we don't have 100 people today.
Thank you, thank you.
Hi, Vicki. How are you? Good, how are you? Not as good as Mr. Knapp that got to see Elton John this weekend.
No way,
Oh,
yeah. We visited a couple of establishments that looked kind of cool.
Yeah, the restaurant. Had really good food.
Were you stalking him on Facebook?
He sent me a picture.
I didn't
Oh,
post
okay,
it.
all right.
Well, it's 8:30, everybody. I'd like to go ahead and get started and try to keep on tracking on time. I know everybody's very busy and I appreciate your time to come today to go over the Downtown Development Authority meeting. I'd like to call it to order, if I could, please. And Margot, if you could do a roll call, that'd be wonderful.
Jim Knapp,
Here.
Matt Bugera,
Here.
Jody Eubank,
Here?
Josh Baker.
Yep.
Amy Gillard will be zooming in. Nikki Law.
Here.
Ryan, I know is absent. Cora Smith.
Here.
Rocky Baydoun
Here.
and Ella Ruddy is absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Margot, for your dedicated support of the DDA. So then we'd like to move into the approval of minutes. Hopefully everybody's got a chance to read the minutes. If there's any changes in the minutes or additions or subtractions, now's your time to speak up. Otherwise, if we get a motion to approve, that'd be wonderful.
There was one change. I was listed as present.
And
absent.
Rocky and I were listed as not present.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Nikki, for bringing that to our attention. We would definitely, if we could have an approval of minutes based on those changes, and then we can make those changes, that would be wonderful.
Based on those changes, I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. We have a huge public here today. Thank you for coming. Would anybody like to make a public comment? I'll take that as a no, so we'll move right on to promotions. So there's a lot of buzz around the ice fest. There's a lot of people been actually talking to me about it. I'm assuming you guys have heard some stuff about it too, so I'll give it back to Margot to go over the promotions.
Okay, so this is where we're at with the Ice Fest, which is this weekend. I can't believe it's here already. We currently have 34 single block pre-carved sculptures that we will have through the downtown. We have our snowball sponsors, which means that they will either be sponsoring a live demonstration or a game, or in Josh's case, he's sponsoring 2 sculptures. So that puts him, at a different level of sponsorship. And that is the Harbor Springs Festival of the Book, Between the Covers, The Outfitter, Harbor Bren, Harbor Springs Ice Cream, Coldwell Banker, and Ivy Boutique. Our larger Blizzard sponsors, which are sponsoring large live demonstrations or interactive sculptures or anything like that, are the Highlands at Harbor Springs, Vernales, Birchwood, Staffords, and Polished on Main. We will have 4 live single block demos. 3 of those will be on the street. 1 will be in Zorn Park. We're going to have a large demonstration at the community center that's going to be, that will be sponsored by Polished on Main, Ivy, and Staffords. And that one is going to be a surprise as to what it ends up being. Then in the park, we're going to have another large demonstration sponsored by Birchwood Golf and Country Club. And theirs is also, I think, going to be a surprise in the end. But it will be interactive. Also in the park for interactive things, we're going to have the ice throne, which is sponsored by Vernales, the large ice picture frame by the Highlands at Harbor Springs, and then we're going to have games of ice cornhole, and then the DDA is sponsoring the ring toss in the park. So, and then we will, so that we're going to have a lot of activity on Saturday, and we're working out a schedule for that. Additional activities for Ice Fest. We are going to have the ice boat. Dick Babcock is bringing that into the park. We have the Free the Fire Dragon Clue Hunt, which is sponsored by No Way Out from Petoskey. That is a virtual clue hunt kind of escape room that is going to start at the Harbor Springs History Museum. There'll be 7 clues throughout town with QR codes. Some of you will be asked to have that on Friday to put them in your window. And then people are able to pre-register and do the escape room. If you pre-register, which we've put all over on Facebook and that, it's free. If you register the day of, there will be a charge, but then Cindy at Petoskey No Way Out is changing that to a $10 coupon to be used, at a future use. So it still kind of washes out in the end. There's also going to be Valentine's card making at the History Museum. And then many restaurants are going to be offering specials like Galentine's at the Pier. New York is doing chili and hot drinks. Harbor Ice Cream is going to be open both Friday and Saturday all day. And then some specials at Pearson Small Batch and hopefully Paper Station as well. So that is the activities that are happening. Does anybody have any discussion on that?
How many No Way Out people have, do you know?
Yeah, well, so far, it's about 20 people registered. It's a kind of a process, and that is something that we're gonna talk about, I'm sure, in the promotions for next year. She wasn't able to provide a link to just register. And so at this point, they either have to message me, email me, message us on Facebook, and then I have to collect all their emails and send them to her. So it's a little bit more tedious than I expected, for sure. But I think there'll be a lot of people that are.
It seems like a nice addition to it. I mean,
It's a really cute idea.
yeah.
It's a really cute idea.
Is there any way that we could provide a sign up link and then where we could have like a link on the DDA website that then just collects email addresses and you?
That was Yeah, that was what we originally were trying to provide
Okay.
with her. She was gonna provide a link that went directly to No Way Out's email.
Yeah. Well, this would be even simpler than emailing directly, even if it just went to us. And then we would compile at the end and then just email the list.
We could create a form, but that's gonna then me creating a form. That's gonna take more
Yeah.
time on this end. And I think in the future, that's something that I would do, but at this point, as far as.
No, yeah, absolutely, just
Yeah.
thoughts for next year.
And I had talked to Chris at the theater. I had my husband chat with him because he's pretty IT techy. And he said that next year, if we run into this problem, he would have no problem being able to create a link for her to
It
make
would
the
be emailed to-
registration super simple, and we could put it would be Facebook compatible, so, and Instagram compatible. It would be compatible on her site and our site. So it was just,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that'd be
so-
perfect.
hopefully we'll be able to make that a little less confusing next year.
Well, because I know when I go and hit, if there's not a link, I'm just like,
Exactly.
Right.
it's not, I'm over.
Yeah, you're like, I
I got something else to do.
Yeah.
Matt, thank you for opening early.
Oh,
I'm not sure who does your social media, but they had the wrong date this morning on their post. They had February 11th, Saturday. I mean, I suppose that people will figure it out, but I think it's good that hopefully we can spread it around after we have Galentine's. Come over to New York after that.
It'd be two different audience, the morning and then the afternoon.
I think there'll be a lot of people. There was a lot of people last year and we didn't have anything that we have this year going on. There was a lot of people in town.
And there was actually a lot of people in town last weekend. too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I even feel like yesterday we saw more people than we've seen.
did you?
Yeah.
That's all good news.
Greg and I are still working out the schedule, which will be posted on Facebook as far as the carving times and of the demonstrations. But basically, it looks like we're gonna start at 9:30 and go all the way till 5:30 on Saturday. And then there may be one live demonstration on Friday evening.
Did you figure out what sculpture I'm doing? Can you tell me what it
It's a
is?
secret.
You told me that you wanted a secret.
God.
Okay. I'll find it
Caitlin doesn't even know.
there. I know.
You said, pick one for me.
I gave it to her. She said that. It's all good. I just don't want the mortar and pestle.
No, that's already taken.
Already taken.
That is already taken.
Another two, I got two.
It's like going back to Kelbo?
It
It
is.
is.
All right.
They wanted to make it funny,
Oh, my
So,
God.
which is great.
Leanne was all
we can
about
move
it.
into advertising
Yes.
of the Ice Fest.
Yeah, so far, we've gotten a lot of good advertising. We've done the new banner at the town entrance. We did, I don't know, hope you saw last week, the ad in the Harbor Light. We've been doing a big push on social media, on Facebook and Instagram over the last couple of weeks. We have newspaper stories coming out in both the Harbor Light and Petoskey News this week, probably today. We have distributed flyers to the schools for the weekly newsletters that should go out this week as far as advertising the Ice Fest to the local kids. We've had a couple e-blasts from the Petoskey Area Visitors Bureau. It is also listed in the Northern Express. We've gone on the Chambers blasts and newsletters that they have. I did a Channel 9 and 10 and Jody as well, thank you, at 5:30 last week. Ads on 9 and 10
Anything for
News.
free advertising.
Yes, and then we have been running radio ads all last week and then this week.
I heard it
quite
this morning
heavily
on the way
this
down,
week.
it was good.
So I've done interviews and press releases with all of those people, and I think it's good amount of advertising, especially for the size of the festival this year.
And the sponsors.
And the sponsors, yes.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So the only thing that we have as far as advertising I've listed to follow up with is the follow-up thank you ad. We'll do a large ad in the newspaper listing all of the sponsors and thanking everyone after the Ice Fest. Is there any other advertising or anything in that area that we need to address?
Just a reminder to the board, to the committee to just keep sharing the link to the Ice Fest. That's been on Facebook.
We can do that.
And we have been boosting the hosts, and they've done really well with the boosts. So,
That's only dollars to boost, you know, through
Yeah.
Facebook.
Right.
okay,
Margaret, I got a question.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned something about a ring toss in one of the parks. Which parks are you holding it at?
so all of the interactive ice carvings and displays are going to be in Zorn Park across from Holy Childhood. And we are going to be using that, I don't know if you remember from the past, that concrete area up by the community center, which is kind of elevated. We are going to be doing one of the large carving demonstrations on that, which is kind of nice. The church was really nice to give us permission to do it because it's a good area to showcase something. And most of our advertisements do say which park it is when it's listed as
And the sign is up, or will go up on the entrance to Harbor Springs.
But it's been up for,
Yeah.
If you want to add anything additional, because Cindy used our place last time as a warming center when they were doing the tree lighting, and that accommodated a lot of people. So
Oh,
if you want to do that in the same instance, they can use our building for that as well, if somebody gets cold. Or restroom facilities as well.
and you could even, yeah, we can add it to the list of activities, stop in at Harbor Ice. Right, that moves us on to the budget. So this is the sponsors. So as I said, we have right around 40, just over 40 sponsors this year. Okay. Our 2022 budget, we came in with a $2,000 sponsorship from the Petoskey Area Visitor Bureau. We have an income, we have no other miscellaneous income this year. Well, actually we do, we have $50 because Graham wrote their check for over, and they said, but just make it a donation. So we have $6,600 in blizzard sponsors, $2,350 in snowball sponsors, which are the live demonstrations, the kind of the smaller but still larger sponsorships. And then for the pre-carved sculptures, where our income is at $14,450, which gives us a total of income of $25,450 for the event. We have going out in expenses, 34 pre-carved, the snowball sponsors, the blizzard sponsors, the DDA's sponsorship for the ring toss, and then the travel expenses for Rock on Ice. So that their total expenses are $17,450. We've spent approximately $800 on advertising, $30 on Facebook ads. I still need to go, and dinner is being comped by Stafford's and the New York, which I appreciate. And then lunch is going to be, be doing again the certificates from Gurney's, and then I talked to Cindy about doing that. So I put those in as purchase price for the lunch amount, that those are not, that we will pay for those gift certificates. Stafford's has very generously comped us up at the Crooked Tree River Lodge for all 3 nights, for 2 rooms for all 3 nights, which is really amazing. The banner is $304. We didn't do hats this year. With our total, that should be expenses. Being $18,713 thus far, giving us a net income of $6,737 for the 2022 Ice Fest, which puts us ahead of our goal of $5,000.
Still paying for DDA paying for the ring toss, so that's good. if we had the chili cook-off, we'd be close to 8,000.
Easy. Yep.
It's great, great way to get positive income.
Yeah,
Do we have payment from majority?
we do.
You don't
We
have to, I just.
Yeah, we have invoiced almost everybody. We have received payment from, most everyone that we've invoiced. Things are still coming in right down to the last wire, even as of Friday, I was still getting people wanting to sponsor. Yeah, and then we are ready to go. Council approved the check on Monday night to pay Rock on Ice, so they have their check is ready and cut for them for Friday. We can make changes if somebody all of a sudden wanted to add on something really huge, we can still do that, but,
Did you want a third sculpture?
I'm good. Two more vessels are good for me.
I have not received my invoice for our
the
share.
large one, because we've been working
I
on, and that was one we talked about, that we were working out, trying to figure out.
Yep,
Since
just
it's
wanted to
3 of
pay
you.
my,
Yes, yeah, I appreciate it. We just had to work that through billing a little bit, but. So
Thank you.
that's-
This looks great.
I know,
Thank you. It's a lot of work.
a lot of work, Margo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And super thank you to Nikki. She did all the signs for the sculptures. Because they'll arrive Friday and
Oh, those are
pedestals, and then we'll attach each one. The sculptures will come in, I think he and I talked right around, start delivery 9 a.m. And it doesn't look like it's gonna be ridiculously cold on Friday, but it is gonna be very, very cold.
We won't have volunteers running into the outfitter begging for socks.
Yeah.
Yes. Foot warmers.
That's right.
That's right. The first year I came in, I
It
was
was
like,
like 10 below.
I was like, Josh, I need better socks.
I think that happened last year too. I think we had to run in and get some mittens.
I got booty warmers from there last year.
Wow.
But it is supposed to be very
Yeah.
cold on Saturday.
Whatever.
Booty warmer for your boots. Sorry,
I could have used those too, Jody.
I mean, it's great that I'm glad to see that we're making $6,000, but ultimately this was to bring business to the downtown, to the businesses, the restaurants, as we try to navigate our town to show the community what the DDA is trying to do for the downtown. I think the most important thing is that it does end up being a really busy weekend, and hopefully the restaurants and the stores see the uptick that weekend, and that's really why we're doing it. I mean, yes, we need to be money positive and fiduciary responsible for our funds, but I'm really happy to see that usually in the years past, those weekends are really busy downtown.
Of course, Saturday is the only day that's in single digits.
That's okay. As long as it's not snowing and a blizzard, people will come out. The sculptures will last longer.
Be very true.
So we will have a schedule post, kind of a general schedule posted with also some general, we talked about that in the committee, some general locations saying, don't miss the sculptures on Bay Street, 3rd Street, because State Street and Main Street. We don't want everybody just to think they're just gonna be right down Main and into the park. So we will list that too as well.
Great. Anything else about Ice Fest? Anybody? Bueller? All right.
Thanks to Margo
Yes.
for keeping us organized.
Thank you, Margaret. So now we're moving on to downtown enhancement. There's just a couple of things we wanted to put on the agenda to keep us informed of what's going on. So the downtown lighting project got a little snafu just because of shipping, right? Margaret, we
Yes.
can't get the parks.
He's just waiting. He
So
comes in every
that's
week.
still- As you guys might remember, it was agreed upon that out of the DDA funds that we raised, we will update all the lights in downtown to make them uniform. Some of the previous meetings you saw, some of them were yellow, some of them were white, some of them were green when they lit up. So we're gonna get uniform all the bulbs and all the globes. So that's still in process. It's just the fact that I don't know if they're stuck in the canal somewhere, but we can't get the parks. So once we get the parks, then they will go up. So I just want to make sure that it's on here as an update, so everybody knows that that's still in process. It's just everything takes longer nowadays. Any questions about the downtown lighting project?
We have had a couple people ask, when it's happening, and I think it is good to remind people, where that it is in progress, just because we've had a couple people ask the city. Well, I thought you said the DDA was going to do this, but it is happening. It's just a matter of timing at this point and waiting for supplies.
Great. Question from the audience.
A thought, suggestion, maybe on the DDA website, actually put that and head it off and say, we're in process of updating the lighting.
Ongoing project or?
Yeah, I think,
Everyone's experiencing that somewhere.
right, and it's not the people all look at the DDA website, but I just be very transparent, put it out there.
Yeah, I just wanted, it's a great idea, and we can add a quick thing on there. This is in progress, just,
It'll happen.
completion date not known due to shipping or whatever, supply chain. But that is definitely happening, just to let everybody know here as well as the general public. Merchants Walkway, so we can do an update on Merchants Walkway as well, because I know we've talked about that in the past.
So at this point, where we are in the Merchants Walkway is, once Ice Fest is done, and I don't know, we talked about this last meeting about Rocky's generous donation to remove the fountain and demolish that and put in a patio area. Kind of, you can explain what costs, again, what that would entail, but Rocky and I are gonna do a site walk, and we're gonna develop a site plan and safety plan for the area, but you can go ahead, Rocky, and tell them
Sure,
what.
yeah, I mean, if there's an opportunity to take a look at it today, that'll be great, just to go to the site. We'll come up with a work plan, demolition plan. I was told that permits are not required for that, but we still have to make it safe. So we'll do a safety plan as well for the location. All the equipment will be donated by our company, construction company, and also manpower will be also donated. I think we just needed a little bit of assistance in bringing some of that equipment here. We lost our CDL driver. So, and I believe John volunteered, or we can get somebody to do that. But based on our schedule with the amount of work that we have, I really need to look at this like ASAP so we can put it on our schedule and get it done for you. But the ultimate goal, I think the initial cost was somewhere around 20,000. So we're hopefully trying to bring it down to 2,000, depending on what we see out there.
And John Cup said that he would be willing to donate, or not donate materials, but get materials for us at a discounted cost. He would be willing to help with the trucking and removal that you need, as some sort of donation on his part too. And then he is also looking at getting me a quote for the wall repair on the retaining walls for the gardens in that area.
That's a great, and we can't thank you enough for donating.
Amazing.
I mean, that's a very large donation. so
Thank you, Rocky.
That's no problem.
Incredible. Yes, just took that off the list.
Right, that's awesome. Okay, perfect. So now we're moving right along into the director's update.
Yes, so as I mentioned, I think at the last meeting, I'm starting to work on a social media project with our student representative, Ella Ruddy. She is going to start working at taking pictures of downtown businesses and working and developing social media posts. I think I have found a really good platform where she can upload them and I can approve them and then we can put them on before having them go live with us so that there aren't any mistakes or anything like that. So I think that's what I'm going to be using with her. She's been really busy with finals and is now gone this week for Michigan Youth in Government, but I know she has started taking pictures and is really interested in doing that. And I'm hopeful that then this can be kind of a project that continues with our student representative in every year. good way to use them, since they have.
We met with her in my office with Margot, and it's just, there's only one of Margot, and I think social media is a great way to do it, and nobody has enough time and energy to do it a lot of times, so rather than just having the student come and observe, we thought this would be a great way, because most of the time, the students are, know social media and their phone more than anything else, so
More than us.
we thought it'd be a great way to work, and she was very receptive of it, so I'm hopeful this program can continue, and when she leaves, the next person can step right in and help with it, same thing, which will help the downtown businesses, because even the ones that don't have a website or don't have time to post, will get posts throughout the time that they're here on a volunteer basis. Looking at the bottom line.
The next thing on my update is I am working, I know Matt brought this up last week, last meeting, and it's something that has been on my list as far as doing a kind of a email blast from the downtown. That is, as soon as Ice Fest is done, that's one of my top priorities, to try to create something for us to have a good notification and go through constant contact or something and give regular updates from the downtown. So that's a priority of mine, working on that as soon as things calm down a little bit with Ice Fest. And we went over the Walkway. Also, so then it leads me to our February financials of the budget. We have not changed too much this month to month. It will change probably next month as we get more in with the Ice Fest, money coming in, but this is kind of where we're coming in at this point. Most of the money in the last month that's come in, as you can see, has been Ice Fest money that's been brought in. And then I think you understand that the way we tax, that the TIF money does not necessarily come in every month. It comes in only two times of the year.
And Margot and I talked about having an ongoing, just quick blast on the financials. I don't want to spend a bunch of time on it, but as everybody's looking at bottom lines, and are we being fiduciary responsible, and where does the money come for the DDA? This is not only for us as a board, but for the community. So showing that if the DDA wasn't here, the amount of money that the city would not get, even though the city does pay the DDA, they're above what they pay is like 25,000 or something like that.
It's approximately 30,000.
So 30,000 dollars, but as you can see, the revenues for the DDA are $91,000. So if the DDA went away, the city wouldn't pay 25,000, but they would not foresee the $91,000 coming in. So as long as we have projects that align with the city, and that's the biggest thing I want to make sure that we do, that we partner with the city on doing things that help, like the lighting. They're going to do the lighting. The city would do the lighting, in my opinion, do the lighting either way, because they don't look very aesthetically pleasing. So this is a way that the DDA can kick in and do something that aligns with the city's plan. So helping them so we can be synergistic together and not adversarial. So I thought by adding a quick financials of where we are, where it comes, it reminds everybody, for the people here as well as the people watching.
And that TIF money will, we project that it's going to keep increasing as far as each year goes. We should not be going backwards.
Margaret, are these fund balances, do they show, have we paid for the downtown light TIF?
No, we have not.
Okay.
No. And this does not reflect our fund balance. This reflects this actually.
The budgeted.
Yeah, the budgeted amount. I don't think Nick included the actual fund balance to it, which is at this point just approximately around $100,000 as well.
I apologize, I have to go.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Thank you for being here, Josh.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Sure you don't want one more
All
sculpture?
right. Moving on to the TIF renewal.
I just wanted to
Oh, go
show,
ahead,
and then the
sorry.
expenses really, the only expenses really changing anything from last month were pretty much wages and then things going out, but that will be we will have Ice Fest money going out next month.
Great. Thanks for the update, Margot.
And then I think the last is the TIF renewal. We need to get moving on that. We did establish a committee last week, which included, or last month, Tim, Jody, myself, Nick Whitaker, and Kathy Breitner. And so we do need to schedule and get moving forward. That needs to be in by September of 2022, the whole plan. And so we need to start working as a DDA to come up with projects and things that we want to have included on this plan. I think we need to think more general, larger, and, you know, in scope and also in time as far as what we're looking at in this renewal. Because I think the last renewal was for 5 years, and this will definitely be probably for 15 years. So we do need to think in a broader scope for that, and have the committee meet.
That's great. So I just want to keep it on here because if we miss it, that would be catastrophic for the DDA. So keep thinking about projects, like she said, general, because if it's 15 years out, we don't know what the city might need in 8 years. Actually, we probably don't know what the city needs in 3 years. So, but if we can keep it general, so that way we can use those funds from the TIF for whatever it might be, whether it be lighting or whatever the case might be. So keep in general, keep thinking that, and then we'll get together and meet and kind of put a timeline together, and then ask for ideas and inputs of what you feel the city needs. I think somehow we need to talk to the city as well. I don't know if it'll be at the council meeting or just talk to Victor or how that'll be, but what they kind of see, what we can add to our TIF plan, so everybody's working in the same direction. And that way those funds that we bring together will work towards making the city that much better.
So we've got a 5-year capital improvement program that Victor could give you.
That would be wonderful.
That would be great.
And we can share that here, and then we can align some of that stuff, because if we can help with some of
See if
those,
there's anything we can pick up on that.
yeah, that would be awesome.
Well, depending on how much of the merchant walkway gets done, that can always stay on to continue to improve that area to make it what we've talked about doing for the last few years. I mean, especially with Rocky's generous donation, it would maybe free us up to continue to improve that area to make it what we had talked about it becoming.
I think that's a great idea. Ella's not here today, Ella Reddy though, but she's already talked to her dad, and her dad said he'd be happy to do a jazz concert out there once we're done with everything. And
I'm saying whether it's,
You know, and-
benches or lighting, or, I mean, there's,
Lighting would be nice back there.
yeah, there's so many cool spaces that in other cities where they have really cool alleyway, walkways and interactive things, that there's an endless list of possibilities to make that area a little more aesthetically pleasing for the city.
Awesome. So we'll keep the TIF update on here, the TIF renewal on here, and we'll make sure we report on where we are each month and let you know that we're feverishly working on that, just trying to finish up Ice Fest, and then we'll move right on to the TIF. Other business, old business, new business? Anything from the chamber, from the parks, from the general public?
Keith Newberry, 2565. I just wanna, this is my first meeting. Actually, I live outside the city, just down in Wheatley, but I just want to compliment the DDA for keeping our town relevant, and these activities are so special to draw the community together, to bring people to the community, whether it's Ice Fest, Valentine's, but throughout the year. This is important to keep our community relevant, engaging, and I look forward to Ice Fest. My only comment on Ice Fest is for those people who aren't here, we thought about doing a virtual, do we have people with talent that could do a virtual tour? You know, or maybe I was thinking with our student after the fact, we could take little pictures and, you know, if somebody had talent or expertise in that area, for the people that miss it, let's make sure they know what they missed. And let's have that as opportunity to engage. You know, it could be less than 2 minutes, but just all the, and it would show the businesses in front. It would show the ice carvers, it would show, and I don't know if you even would want to link that with a promotion or future promotion or come in. Anyway, I'm just encouraged by what the community, after being gone for 35 years, what the community is trying to do to stay relevant. So thank you.
Thank you for those comments, and it's a great idea. If we can somehow do a little picture walkthrough or video walkthrough or Facebook Live.
And you can save it before you put it out there, and then you can link it to your
Well,
DDA.
I just mentioned to Margot, this might be a really good project possibly for Ella if she's in town, where she could go, we could give her the schedule of the live carvings, because I did that a couple years in a row where we did lots of live carvings throughout like Pearson's and wherever we had them. So maybe we could give her that schedule of the bigger ones and she could kind of check in and check out and just do periodic live demonstrations from delivery to setup to, you know, walk around and do all the pictures like we've all tried to do and put it on the website, but that might be a good thing for.
Even saving some of that stuff, videos and stuff for promotions for next year. We've been doing a lot of reels and they get, I mean, I'm just learning about that. They get so many views. I mean,
Yeah,
one of my reels has 6,000 views.
Yep.
From people that definitely, I don't have 6,000 followers on our
Right.
Instagram. So,
Wow.
and people all over, I mean, as long as you're kind of targeting the right audience, it's gonna,
Really easy too.
it's super easy.
Yeah, which is the bonus.
But the people are enjoying the entertainment, also recognize the business name, the sponsor name, the town. It just wants to, if they miss it, to become part of it in the future, or even if they're summer residents, to participate in summer events.
Great idea.
Thanks for your good idea and thanks for coming, Keith, and for the nice, kind words you have to say.
Yes. So if there's nothing else, we can adjourn.
I have new business.
Yes, new business.
Hopefully I'm not out of touch here, but there's 3 things that I want to recommend. The first one, similar to the Ice Fest, but it's gardening sculptures. So what we do is we create a frame and we can solicit different fabrication companies, steel fabrication company, to donate each frame with their sign, which advertises for them, but they're donated to the DDA. And these could be used every year. So once you have the frame of a sculpture in metal, you can go ahead and plant it with different types of flowers, and plants, and it could be used every year. Also, with that idea as well, you can put a ring on top where it can be picked up and put in the park as a display. And can be used for 2 different purposes. One is to attract people as a gardening show for Harbor Springs. One is you can put them in your downtown. So if we're able to get 15 of these, it could be a great start, and maybe with no cost initially to the DDA. So that's one item if you can think about it. The second one is if we're able to offer services for, I've noticed this when I walk the street sometimes. In some places, your feet can stick on the ground. We will be able to donate a piece of equipment that cleans and sweeps the street and power wash as well, and you can charge for it. But the equipment will be donated by our company, and you literally need just 1 or 2 people, maybe do that twice a year to keep our sidewalks clean. So that's an option. The third option, we had just formed a foundation called Make God Great Again Foundation. I know it sounds a little political with the name, but that was not the intent of it. And the slogan for this foundation is, you can't make America great again unless you make God great again first. We want to promote morality, also helping people in our community. If an older person has a bad roof, they need help, that we can help them repair it at no cost. So that's what the foundation does. also offer affordable housing and different things. So what I wanted to do with this, I wanted to have a Christian concert at Zone Park. And I would like to get some feedback. And basically, half the proceeds can go to the foundation, half the proceeds can go to the DDA if that's allowable. So those are my 3 items I would like to see if we can discuss, plan for it or not plan for it.
Well, first of all, thank you for your ideas, because that's why we want to have a bunch of people here, because the ideas are, if we don't have new ideas, then we get stagnant. And I think they're great ideas, and we just have to continue to talk about them and figure it out. The garden show is, I never really thought about that, but we have a good winter show. I mean, summer is a very, very busy time, but it is something that we could talk more about doing something. I think there's a lot of gardeners in this area. As you can tell just by walking around in the summertime or walking through the neighborhoods. The equipment, I just have to learn more about it. You're saying it's something that cleans don't we have a street cleaner in town?
I've never seen anybody take care of the
Actually,
sidewalks,
that's
to be
something that
honest
has
with
come
you.
up before, as far as even, through the police, as far as, encouraging the businesses to really sweep and clean their areas, and wouldn't it be nice to power wash, a couple, once a
Right.
year to sidewalks or the areas in front of it.
So that's definitely something that, I mean, if it comes up, I don't see why that wouldn't be a good thing, but again, I don't know all the caveats of the city and everything else, but I think we should definitely bring that to Victor and talk to him about that and see about if we have the capacity staff to run it and to do it, because I don't think we really can ask Margot to run it every Saturday or whatever.
No, this was like you go out in the summer once, in the summertime, clean up the streets. Do a good cleaning, for the sidewalks. And you might be able to see if the business will pay for their portion of that, and that goes to the bank of the DDA. So the equipment is donated by our company. You'll have a Bobcat skid steer with a sweeper, and we have power washers too. So literally you need 1 person on the skid steer, 1 to power wash. But if you want to simplify it, we can just do the sweeping of it. And in the fall too, we have the issue with leaves as well. Sometimes it's probably good to clean it up, and once those leaves get wet, it gets pretty slippery. But it could be twice a year as a start, but you can have the businesses say, hey, you're willing to donate. If they say yes, fine. If not, still, what are you going to do? Skip their sidewalk? No, you're offering a service as a DDA.
Yeah.
I think it's something definitely for us we're gonna be talking, the Downtown Enhancement Committee will meet and start talking, and then things to talk about these projects. I think that's, see where we can
Right.
get them to form and take shape. Usually we'll look at some of those projects and then talk to the city and see then what, if they're viable and what next steps, can happen.
I think it's a great idea. So let's try to, that we can add it to the Downtown Enhancement Committee, and then we can add it to our agenda for next time and keep it on track to see where we are with it.
Yeah.
And that kind of pairs, while we aren't ready to take over, snow removal, which I know Matt has brought up several times. We have talked about, can we provide salt or whatever, it's some sort of thing for businesses for in the winter time to keep their areas, free from ice. So I think it all goes hand in hand together. It's a really good idea.
Yeah, the salt is an expensive proposition now. Its prices are up quite a bit.
It's damaging.
Actually, you can use the sweeper that we have as well to clean the sidewalks. And we also have a blower for it too. It's an expensive blower. I don't even use it, to be honest with you. So that is an option, especially if we can have a place to store it. I got like 6 of them, 6 skid steers, and one of them could be.
You can store one at my house.
Your driveway.
I have a really long driveway.
Again, it's just an option. It's already set up. It's got the emergency lights on it and everything. It's in compliance. And it's just equipment that's available.
All right, so let's definitely put it on their downtown enhancement committee. If there would be cost of who's gonna run it, if it's, you know, if the city, if the merchants are gonna donate something, but the city's running it, then that money probably should go back to the city to pay for those, you know, person running it, but unless Margot wants to do it every morning or something. But so those are things we have to vet.
Wow.
We did water all the flowers all summer,
I
so
know,
with our little push cart.
Mine just offered to do it, so we're good.
I'll take a turn, are you kidding?
Yeah, everybody takes a turn. But let's talk about it and vet it and see it, so we are in compliance and we are safe with it and everything else. And then yes, thank you again. The concert in the park, I think that would be, you know, if the foundation wanted to do it, I think that would have to go to council, I believe, to request it.
Yes.
And then we can talk more about, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's a good idea. You know, I think I love going to live music, so it would be, I think, something good, but
Yeah, so I think that usually falls under the council, but then first through Rachel in the Parks Director as far as getting approval for concerts and things like that.
but yeah, that would be. I think that's a good idea.
I mean, if you get good, if it turns out to be a great thing, this could be a destination weekend for one of our weekends in town
Mhm.
where we can have the same thing over and over again. And like I said, we're willing to share the revenue with the DDA, and some of it can go to the foundation because we are, you know, we want to assist our locals if they need assistance and so forth.
Mhm.
But we see a lot of tarps on houses and maybe people don't have the means, and if we can help in a certain way for our community, we're going to try. But does anybody have any questions about the name or anything like that, or?
Well, I mean, I do think that we need to be, I think that I love the idea and I love the premise, especially to help out people in the community because there is such a need for affordable housing and things like that. But I do think that we need to be careful because everything is so turbulent. And I don't think that turbulence is going to go away. So I would hate to do something really good and have it turn off a group of people that could benefit or could donate or could be a part of it. So I would, if it is something that goes forward, I would just be cautious with how it's worded and what it's about, because it could turn off and it could cause a whole nother issue for the city council.
Yeah, and we do have a disclaimer that's going on there that says that we're not a political organization, but the name was just really catchy and a lot of people supported it. And again, it's just, it really is there to promote good things in our community.
Yeah.
And that's what our aim is.
Mhm.
And I think that all is really good, and we can discuss it more in I mean, whether or not, I mean, the foundation can do that completely on their own, not in accordance with the DDA as well.
Yeah.
You know, so that's,
Absolutely.
so we can also look at and talk about it in the promotions committee, whether or not it's something that we feel would be aligned with our mission and statement.
We'd have to pull in, like Margot said, Parks and Rec would have to be part of that conversation too, since it would be taking place in the parks.
Yeah.
I mean, anything, even if we do Beer Fest again in the fall, you know, we would have to bring in, now that it would be in the parks. I would want to work in collaboration with Rachel, since it would be something that would be taking place in one of the parks throughout town.
That
I
makes
will
sense.
say, I mean, with that, I think you've sent, Margot has kind of given me like what's going on this summer, but if you do have fall events, I definitely recommend getting them to me this spring if you can, with the dates, because like my office was flooded with applications. I think just because of COVID, people weren't doing things like weddings, things like that.
No,
And now-
I'm not doing it.
And now this year, like everyone is doing it. So if you look at the city calendar, like almost every weekend has something.
Yeah, and the Brew Fest was something that we wanted to try to do again this
Yeah.
year, and we had it going, but then COVID got so crazy in the fall that we
Exactly.
pulled it.
It's just something I'd rather put on a calendar and approve it, and then if something happens, then it doesn't proceed. Yeah, but I would just hate to just book something out, just, and we could do a save the date right now, for sure, yeah.
That sounds good. Thanks for bringing your ideas here. Peter.
Welcome.
Any other new business, old business?
I have a piece of old business that we should at least look at in the next couple of months. Good morning, everyone. We've not discussed in a number of months the flowers in the tree bases. And we did that last year as a trial for council at their request. And we discovered lots of reasons why it wasn't the best with the current setup. We just need to make sure, I think, that the city is prepared to go forward with something in those bases this summer. Margot, maybe that's something you work with the city with. The flowers, as we know, had some issues. We had some issues with those.
That's a really good point, Kathy. And it's definitely an issue that needs to be addressed in the next meeting, for sure.
Yes, we do. Yeah. And then I don't know that it's us and it's not in our plan and we did take it at council request and learned a ton. But as we look into the TIF, that could be something we put in our next plan. At the moment, it's not in this plan, but we do need to make sure that someone does something for this summer season.
It's a very good point, because I think one of the meetings that we finished up with, since there wasn't water there wasn't irrigation there. I think in one of our meetings, we said we were not going to continue with that. So we need to make sure we communicate with the city that what's the plan for the, we don't want them to go back to wood chips that go all over the sidewalks.
Could we, at some point, maybe newer members have an update or kind of like how that's been going? Like over the past couple of years, just, to know what was taken over last year, because I have no clue. So
real quick, at some point, the city said, we'll help you with some money and then go forth and see what we can do. We went down a rabbit hole of trying to have all the trees equal distance, have all the holes the same, put tree grates in, and the price ballooned up to, I think, $300,000 to do that. And that was well above and beyond what the city was willing to do. And at the time, the DDA didn't have the funds to do that. So then we tried to pare it down, do we do a block at a time? Does the DDA might have funds to do one block or something, but then that kind of, we presented to the council and the council was just like, no, we're not spending money on that. And it's unfortunate that their gift, it kind of ballooned into expenses that we didn't know about. So then we were like, okay, we need to do something there. Let's put flowers back in there like there used to be. We were told there's irrigation in each one. And so then we partnered with the Honor Society at the school. The DDA bought some of the flowers. There was a small donation from the city wasn't there from the city?
Yes.
To help purchase the flowers. Then we realized that half of them don't have irrigation, or the irrigation is not sufficient for the flowers. So then we started taking turns watering them every morning. And so there's a lot of time constraints there. And then some of the flowers got trampled and died because of no water. Some of the businesses were really good about watering them themselves, which I would think it would be easy to do, but I know they get busy as well. So those ones that didn't get water died, so we replaced them and then started watering more. And then it was so much time and energy from some of the board members on the DDA that we said we don't have the capacity right now to do that unless we have the funds somewhere to hire somebody to take care of them.
Mhm.
And the Honor Society was great, in that one blast, but their follow through about coming down every week or watering, that just wasn't ever talked about with them because we thought it was there. So there were a lot of things that need to be corrected if that's the way the city wants to go. So that's the short story.
wonderful.
Well, we also, prior to looking at tree grates, we had some arborists come out, am I correct in saying, looking at some of the trees that are presently planted?
Mhm.
And they said, putting up tree grates that some of these trees, A, wouldn't last very much longer, and B, the roots would come up into the tree grades.
Yeah.
Am I correct in that, Kathy?
Yes.
Margaret?
And, you know,
Okay.
and that's, the tree grate project is a bigger picture than just the flowers. There are two parts to this that we'll update you on how this took place. We can look at tree grates going forward in our TIF plan. But for this next summer, I think the short problem is figuring out what's going to go down there this coming summer season that looks okay and that is easy to maintain. We also learned from this project this past summer that the garden club had pulled out of this very project because of the problems that we discovered without not having enough water and having too many tree roots in the way. So at least we need to help the city with some kind of short-term solution this summer while we dive into TIF.
I do have a question. So before the trees and the flower things became an issue, when they removed the borders around the trees, the wooden borders when Tom was still here, was there, how were the flowers watered then before?
Just like we ended up doing last July when we finally figured out there wasn't water. We had this portable water container on wheels. And the garden club went around with that and watered with that. And that's what we started doing.
Water was from the garden.
It was purchased from the city for the garden club.
So the garden club took care of the flowers.
They took care of everything.
Yeah, I
They
remember
got-
that.
They got the flowers, the water, and then the city gave them a stipend to help with the purchase of the flowers.
Which is
I knew-
essentially what happened last year with the city giving a donation to the National Honor Society for the kids to plant the bases
Yeah.
and unplant them and then weed them throughout the summer. It's just, we thought that there was gonna be water.
I was just curious, because it always looked, before the bases got removed, and I've said this before in multitude of meetings, it always looked so nice in town. It always looked good. Like there was never dead flowers, there was never, now I know we had a garden club that took care of that, but it was beautiful.
It
Like
was
when
a
you
huge
came
job
in,
for them.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, okay. So
As it was
I was just curious.
A
'cause
huge job for us, and Kathy ended up being the only
Yeah.
one that did it for a while.
I was just curious, 'cause the
I mean,
history,
maybe it makes sense to use some tip money to pay someone to come and upkeep it.
I mean, possibly.
Not
because-
necessarily.
We looked
water
into
or-
it or pay to upgrade irrigation, because I'm pretty sure in Petoskey, I have to double check this, but I'm pretty sure in Petoskey, every single one has
They
proper
do.
irrigation.
So we have irrigation in all of ours, in
Well,
all
if
of the
it's not-
tree grades. But what's happened is there's soaker hoses and that's, so we've gone back and forth, you know, with talking with Lucas as to whether that's an effective use of watering. In addition, what we ran into last year when we tried to reach out to some of the landscape companies, which I contacted several, they didn't want the job. And that's how we ended up with the National Honor Society, because we were going to pay. Now, that said, that things may have changed, but they were so busy and had so
Yeah.
many existing clients that they were not interested even in being paid for that. So we've just got to look at all the different options, and that's where we ended up last year. And I absolutely agree, Kathy, that we do need to at least recommend a short-term solution again for this year's tree.
I think that's the biggest thing and then thank you for bringing it up, Kathy. I think we do need to reach out to Victor and make sure that we're thinking about it now, because we don't want to fire drill come time to plant or come down time for the city to get busy again. What are we going to do there? What's the city want to do there? So thank you
Okay.
for bringing that up, and we can
You're welcome.
add that to the downtown enhancement committee just to make sure that we stay on top of it and we don't lose sight of it, to help the city remember as well.
Okay.
We work on that synergy. Anything else? All right, well, we can adjourn. Happy day, everybody. Enjoy. Hope you have the best day ever.
Happy hump day.
Wednesday it is.
Don't.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, it was.
I was just saying, you can stop streaming.
It sounds like a pretty neat machine there.